What if the most powerful person in any room isn't the loudest, the flashiest, or the one demanding attention? What if real power, unshakable, untouchable power, belongs to the man who says nothing, who stands still while the world scrambles to pull him in? Today we're diving into a concept that will change how you see influence, control, and personal freedom. The quiet power of the man who cannot be controlled. This isn't about rebellion or arrogance. It's about mastering yourself so completely that no one, no system, no pressure can move you unless you choose to move. By the end of this video, you'll understand why silence is a superpower, how to spot the subtle ways society tries to control you, and how to cultivate the kind of inner strength that makes you unstoppable. Stick around, because this is about reclaiming your freedom in a world desperate to shape you. Let's get started. We live in a world obsessed with control. Not the old school kind with chains or prisons, but something sneakier. It's emotional control. Think about it every day. You're bombarded with messages telling you what to feel, what to want, what to fear. Social media rewards you with likes for fitting in. Your boss dangles a promotion for playing by the rules. Even your friends might guilt trip you if you don't go along with the group. This is modern control. It's not about locking you up. It's about making you need approval, validation, or belonging. But here's the kicker. What happens when someone doesn't need any of that? When a man walks into a room and doesn't care if you like him, doesn't flinch at criticism, and doesn't chase your applause, that man is dangerous. Not because he's violent, but because he's free. He's the anomaly in a system built on predictable reactions. This idea isn't new. Centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli, the guy who wrote The Prince, understood that power isn't just about force, it's about perception. He said a leader must be like a fox and a lion, cunning enough to avoid traps and strong enough to stand firm. But more than that, Machiavelli knew that the greatest threat to any system is someone who can't be influenced. Someone who doesn't react the way you expect. Let's break this down. Most people are easy to control because they're emotionally predictable. Offer them praise and they'll bend over backward. Threaten them with rejection and they'll conform. But the man who cannot be controlled, he doesn't bite. He listens, he observes, but he doesn't budge unless it aligns with his own purpose. That's what makes him powerful. I used to think power was about being the loudest or the most charismatic. But over time, I realized the people who truly hold sway aren't the ones shouting. They're the ones who stay calm under pressure, who don't need to prove anything. They're the ones you can't read, and that unpredictability gives them an edge. So how does this man operate? What's his secret? It's not some mysterious talent. It's silence. Not just keeping your mouth shut, but a deliberate, disciplined choice to withhold reaction. Silence is a weapon because it flips the script. In a world addicted to noise, constant posts, arguments, explanations, silence creates tension. It makes people uncomfortable. They expect you to react, to defend yourself, to chase their approval. When you don't, they start to unravel. Machiavelli hinted at this when he wrote that a leader who reveals nothing controls everything. By staying quiet, you force others to fill the void. They over-explain, they project, they reveal their weaknesses, all because you didn't give them what they expected. This isn't about being cold or aloof. It's about being intentional. Let's look at how this works in practice. Imagine you're in a heated meeting. Everyone's shouting, trying to prove their point. You stay calm, say nothing, just listen. Suddenly, people start looking to you. They wonder what you're thinking. Your silence becomes a presence, a kind of gravity that shifts the room. Why? Because most people can't handle the unknown. They need to know where you stand so they can adjust their strategy. When you don't give them that, you hold the power. This is why silence is so rare today. We're conditioned to overshare, to respond instantly, to fill every gap with noise. Social media trains us to seek validation through likes and comments. But the man who masters silence doesn't need that. He's not playing for short-term attention, he's playing the long game. Let me tell you about a guy I know, let's call him James. James was a mid-level manager at a tech company, always overlooked for promotions because he wasn't the loud, self-promoting type. But James had a knack for staying calm in chaos. During a major project crisis, while everyone else was panicking and pointing fingers, James sat quietly in meetings taking notes. When the CEO finally asked for his input, James spoke briefly, clearly, with a solution no one else had considered. That moment changed everything. He wasn't louder than the others. He was smarter about when to speak. Within a year, he was leading his department. His silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. Now let's talk about why this kind of power is so hard to achieve. The world is designed to keep you emotionally hooked. Think about the last time you felt pressured to apologize for something you didn't do, or to go along with something you didn't believe in. That's emotional leverage at work. Society controls you by making you crave acceptance, whether it's likes on Instagram, a pat on the back from your boss, or just fitting in with your friends. The man who cannot be controlled has broken free from this. He's not immune to emotions, he's human after all, but he's trained himself to prioritize his own clarity over external validation. He doesn't need your approval to feel good about himself. He doesn't need your criticism to question his worth. That's what makes him untouchable. Consider Nelson Mandela. For 27 years he was imprisoned, subjected to unimaginable pressure to break, to renounce his beliefs, to give in to despair. Yet Mandela remained calm, focused, and resolute. He didn't lash out or beg for mercy. His silence, his refusal to be emotionally manipulated, became a symbol of strength. When he was finally released, he didn't seek revenge. He led with clarity and purpose, uniting a fractured nation. Mandela's power wasn't in fighting back. It was in refusing to be moved by hate or fear. This resonates with me because I've seen how easy it is to get caught up in emotional traps. A few years ago, I was in a toxic work environment where my boss would use guilt to get me to work overtime. I'd feel bad saying no, like I was letting the team down. But then I realized that guilt wasn't mine. It was a tool to control me. The moment I started setting boundaries, saying no without explaining, I felt free. It wasn't easy, but it was liberating. The key here is detachment, not from people, but from the need to be liked. When you stop chasing approval, you start seeing the world differently. You notice how much of what people say or do is just a bid for control, and you realize you don't have to play along. So, how do you become this kind of man? It's not about being born with some special gift. It's about discipline, self-determination. The ability to decide for yourself what matters is a skill you build. It starts with small choices, saying no to things that don't align with your values, refusing to react impulsively, choosing silence over noise. Here's a practical tip. Practice delayed response. Next time someone tries to provoke you, whether it's a snarky comment or a guilt trip, don't respond right away. Take a breath. Let the moment pass. You'll be amazed at how much power you gain by not giving them the reaction they expect. This ties back to Machiavelli's idea of controlling perception. When you're impulsive, you're predictable. When you're predictable, you're controllable. But when you choose your moves deliberately, you become a mystery, and mystery is power. Let's look at Elon Musk for a moment. Love him or hate him. Musk is a master of unpredictability. When critics attack him on X, he doesn't always respond with a defense. Sometimes he ignores them. Other times he drops a cryptic meme or a single-word reply. That unpredictability keeps people guessing, and it gives him leverage. He's not reacting to the crowd, he's setting his own tempo. Building this discipline isn't easy. It requires facing your own insecurities. For me, it meant learning to be okay with being misunderstood. I used to over-explain myself, worried people would judge me. But the more I practiced restraint, the more I realized most people don't need your explanation. They need your consistency. So, What's the lesson here? The most powerful man isn't the one who dominates others, it's the one who dominates himself. In a world that thrives on emotional chaos, your greatest weapon is your ability to stay calm, to stay clear, to stay free. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to fight to win. You just need to refuse to be moved unless it's on your terms. Start small. Practice silence in moments of pressure. Say no without explaining. Let go of the need to be liked. Over time, you'll build a kind of inner strength that no one can touch. You'll become the man who cannot be controlled, not because you're against the world, but because you've mastered yourself. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more content on building mental strength and living life on your terms. And let me know in the comments what's one situation where you're going to practice silence or restraint this week. I'm reading every comment. Thanks for watching. Stay strong, stay free, and I'll see you in the next one.